my name is Aksik, aka Nika. Welcome to my channel. Very happy to see you here. And on this channel we talk mostly about adult coloring and art materials and art tutorials, tips, and whatever pops into my head, really, to be honest. And today I'm going to do a bit of a haul video. I was not supposed to have any haul videos for quite a while, but since I was in slump in July, the usual slump thing happened, which means that if you're kind of slumpy and uninspired, you tend to go and look for some materials that would inspire you. And thus I ended up with not a hugely expensive haul, but bits and pieces from all over the place, which actually did kind of inspire me a fair bit. So I'm going to pull things to the side here, and then I'm going to start going through them one by one. Wait a second. Let's see which one is going to stay on the desk. Okay, the one who stayed, or the thing that stayed, is I just keep moving that camera up and down as I go. These are now Languo 0.6 millimeter gel pens. Love them. I have said that several times, and now I think Jackie from Spare Room Studio was one of the first ones who actually started kind of using them almost like watercolors as well, kind of diluting them on the page. And I've been trying to practice with that bit as well, but mostly, my main usage for them so far has been basically like highlights or line covering or kind of fixing areas that I've made some boo-boos on or stuff like this. And these were the new colors that I really liked. They're kind of more muted greens, kind of a earthy, mossy, boggy greens. More of a distance greens here, and kind of a like grayish, when a bit more grayed out blues. And this time there's also nice variations, like there's some nice darks and some lights, and also a set of very light, and I mean super light, gel pens. These ones are technically it's pink, but if you actually put it down on paper, I would call them like pink white and beige white, and essentially they are toned whites. And I like the idea of them when if I decide, you can see how pale it is, and it'll kind of dry even brighter, of course. And what I like those for is that if I want to use them, especially for highlights or kind of covering lines in certain areas where I want bright but not bright white line, kind of have that little bit of a hint of a color, kind of a little bit of a chroma, that is going to be really nice. So these ones will get good bit of use. I did, of course, accidentally buy 2 packets of them. So I don't know if I'm going to go through 2 packets, but I have them now. They will sit there in my craft box, and hopefully eventually I get use out of them. So that's all about them. Then next things, since we're on markers, let's not kind of Languo pick here. I got these ones. These are the 4 new colorways now. So these are basically the same colorways that I now had those gel pens in. Those are now in the acrylic markers. Really like really light ones, which are like toned whites. I like the kind of and I have used both these kind of a really earthy greens and kind of a more grayed out muted blues, which go really nice for kind of a more natural sky tones or water, because water isn't usually bright, most of the time water has grayish undertones. and kind of a distance, especially if you're coloring these, especially overcast days, these are great for distance. And there's also kind of like these advanced grays, which are basically like toned grays, or kind of a grays with a bit of a color in them, kind of a hint of a color. I can show you, maybe with a couple. Okay, let's pull this, and let's pull this, and let's do the shaky, 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 shaky. And as I have said before, I am a huge fan of acrylic pens. There's so many things you can do with them. I am thinking about making kind of a similar, like I did for water-based markers, maybe some sort of a technique or video type of stuff I do, or I use them for, and stuff I have seen people use them for. Of course, this won't be totally kind of a comprehensive, but it will be certainly helpful, if you want to have one video when there's loads of different techniques you can do with that stuff. So yeah, you can see those kind of a really interesting grayed out muted tones, which I will find great, especially if you're doing backgrounds or distance, where you don't want things very bright. These are fantastic colors, and I'm very happy that they came out with these. So let me see, I'm going to stick them away so they wouldn't be in my way here. You can hear my chair moving. And the last Languo thing now, which I quite recently talked about, is this set. This is 90 new colors, and these are updated or upgraded or improved versions of Languo 1mm plus acrylic painting gel pens. The original ones, I don't have any boxes. I don't think I have any boxes left, do I? Let me see if I have a box left for the old ones. Yeah, I have one box. Like, old ones came in boxes like these, so they're called color painting gel pens, and these ones you had to press down hard, well, hard, but yeah, not gently anyway. If you just did that, you went to a paper and nothing came out. To get them writing, you had to press down and keep pressing as you are writing or drawing or putting color down. And I have now lately discovered, that I can use them for some things, but they are not, they can be a bit of a pain, the fact that you have to keep pressing. And of course they, some of them work better than others. Some of them you have to press harder than with others. And of course you will tire, especially if your hands tend to be sore, or if you have arthritis or something like this. These are not great for your hands. So the new ones now, you have 90 colors. This set I ordered, that I was kind of doing calculations, and I thought, I will want them all anyways. And it was actually cheaper to buy this set. It was, I think, 28 euros to have this full set of 90 at the time anyway, when I ordered them. And it would work out way more expensive, or quite a bit more expensive if I were to order them in packets. So I just ordered the full thing. I still haven't figured out, let me see now, how exactly I'm going to store them, if I'm going to leave them in these trays, although they're nice to kind of look at in these trays. The problem is, of course, that you have to pull all of them out, and they, would be all over the desk if you're working with them. Sorry, I hit the camera. The colors are lovely, and they are also, waterproof acrylic. And these ones, you don't really have to press down hard, a little bit, tiny bit, not hard when you're writing with them. You can also, you know, as with the previous ones, if you put them in paper in a small area and work quickly, you can wash them out with water, you know, kind of dilute them, and they are more matte than the previous version. So, you know, that's to know. So I probably eventually end up doing my super sophisticated rubber band method, basically stick them all, you know, separate them all into colorways and put them into little rubber band sets. But until then, really, really like them. Fantastic to work with. Okay, I probably show, you know, kind of how proof is in the pudding. Let me see. Here's my notebook where I usually do that sort of a. Okay, I had never swatched them out like this. This is now the surface you get with the new pens. As you can see, if I move it a little bit, the other ones, this is the least shiny. I don't know if it actually shows. This is kind of the most matte of all of the kind of a gel pen types. I know that they now have kind of a clicky type of gel pens out as well. Kind of a, but I did order a couple of packets of these just to test them out. But I haven't really, you know, gotten any yet, so I can't really say anything about them. They're supposed to be acrylic as well, but you know, they work like click pens. Basically, you click. They don't have the cap. You basically just click, and the nib comes out. And yeah, here you go. No pressure, just smooth writing. There you go. I'm getting it closer. Nice and juicy also. I'll do a little bit of a moment if you know, you can see how it glistens with the amount of paint it has put out. So they are lovely. Also, those trays are pretty nice and sturdy. You know, kind of sturdy, but the pens keep them sturdy, and they're really secure in those trays. You can literally shake, nothing comes out. You actually have to usually kind of somehow fish or, you know, kind of gouge them out of there. They're very securely in these trays, so it's a nice packaging. And so that's all about these. Then I got, there was an Amazon UK I have wanted to try Ecoline brush pens for a while. I have a big huge weakness for water-based markers, as you might have noticed in my previous videos. And these ones I have heard good things about, but you know, I hadn't really tried them. So usually they're certainly not the cheapest ones around, although there are more expensive ones around. Goldfarbers, for example, are more expensive than these. And you can actually get the 30 sets on some websites with a pretty good price. And what can I say? There was a kind of a sale. There was big discount on both of these sets, like 40% off. So I said, okay, you know, for that price, I'm going to pick them up. And they are nice. They are nice. This is the, let me see if I have some sort of a swatchy thing. I know that I, at least for one of them, I did kind of a quick swatch. The autumn set. Okay, I can't find it at the moment. I am so sorry. I know that I did it, but I can't. I don't want to go and spend huge amount of time here to look for them. Essentially, these are the colors. The colors are actually quite similar to the caps. And it's called Autumn Set, this one. It has 5 pens. The pens are brush pens. They are quite, you know, decent sized brush. It's a fairly soft brush. And the colors are beautiful. This is called, funnily enough, that's called reddish brown. I would more call it like burgundy or wine. on a correct paper, or this paper certainly isn't correct, but they do wash out pretty well. You can wash them out, or you can of course pick them up from the palette altogether. You know, there's no law against that. Beautiful, beautiful colors. This one is a burnt sienna, and you look how juicy they are. They are really rich and juicy when they come out from the pen. So they are beautiful, and I like the fact that the names actually kind of are. Sometimes they go a bit mad with the names of the markers, and these ones, you know, this is burnt sienna, this is sepia deep, this is just sepia here, this is bronze green, and this is burnt sienna. So those are all kind of easy to recognize. You know, the moment you say that color name, you already have a picture in your head what that color is going to be like. So yeah, I like them a lot. I don't think I'm going to, you know, kind of go and start collecting them unless, you know, there's going to be big discount again. But they are definitely worth looking at. You know, if you're looking at nice water-based markers, they are good quality. And then there's pastel set, which is fantastic for basing. You know, they are nice, super juicy, and once again, you know, the same beautiful brush, and the color is pretty much, you know, very, very close to, you know, what the color coding on the marker is. They are really nice for basing. I have used them in coloring books for basing already. They're nice, soft colors. So absolutely, you know, this, especially this pastel set, you know, if you're looking for pastel set, if you can get this set with a good price, yeah, totally. Would be lovely to use in coloring books for, you know, basing, slightly washing out. And it also comes with the colorless blender type of a marker. So, but you need to be, of course, gentle with it. You can see, you know, how easily you can peel things. But you can soften the edges if you know, but you need to be like here. Here I'm being now super gentle, and even then, you know, it tends to peel a bit. But this paper is not good for any blending or anything at all. It's fairly thin and fragile paper, so I wouldn't really I wouldn't really make many judgments about that, you know, how markers perform based on this paper. But it's, you know, very juicy, and all of them are nice. You know, plenty of ink in them, lovely for blending. You know, they can also blend nicely into each other. Let me see. Let's say take this one and this one. There you go. And you can, of course, you know, soften it further. I was a bit lazy about my blending, but there you go. So beautiful. They are also quite chunky. So because of the chunkiness, I expect them to probably last quite a while, because I also like the fact that, you know, you put that lid on, you can hear it, you know. It's nice and strong. So I expect that, you know, they wouldn't dry out easily. But, you know, the same chunkiness, I presume, can be a bit of an annoyance when you're storing them. But, you know, take your good with your bad. But yeah, I like them quite a lot. And, you know, if you are looking for kind of a nice pastel set, definitely, you know, on the list of my recommendations. Then, okay, before I forget, because it's such a small thing, and I happened to kind of, while I was wandering around online, I happened to stumble across Morgan O'Brien's, I think it's the the website, anyway, the website he sells his coloring books, his digital coloring books on. And he also, I discovered, sells stickers. And I was like, I live in Ireland, he's an Irish artist, it would be nice to support him. They weren't expensive, and I just picked up myself a set, to put one of them onto my laptop and maybe give rest of them to my daughter, because she likes to do kind of a like snail mail exchange sometimes with different friends in different countries. So those would be nice stickers to send. So this one, there's a couple of these which were like bonus stickers, and these ones, and this is the one I actually kind of wanted for myself because I love that. I love, look at the holographic, ooh, fancy. And I love the frog. Just adore it. So I keep the frog, and the rest of them my daughter is going to use as her snail mail decorations, or little, like they always put little gifts of stickers and stationery and, I don't know, tea bags and bits and pieces into their envelopes, just for the fun sake. But I think it's a lovely custom, and lovely thing to do. So these are going to go a good cause. Now then, I bought some very practical stuff. Basically, I bought a spare fine mister for myself, mainly because, see, I have a fine mister already. This is the one I constantly use. What is a fine mister? If you are not aware, it is basically a spray bottle that disperses the spray very evenly and very smoothly. And you just kind of, you don't get any splatters with it. And if you do kind of this movement, you can actually get nice even coverage. It's nice if you want to occasionally, if I want to wet the whole page, for example. Sometimes I can't be bothered, doing it with a brush. I just take the fine mister and do it. Or wetting, let's say I need to clean up something quickly. Wetting kitchen paper quickly, if I need to do something with a damp kitchen paper, or a cotton bud, or anything that I need to quickly wet, or I need to, like, I have a collection of rags here under my desk, nicely folded, for use. And if I need to clean up something, this is what I use for moistening them. So I would basically, I don't have to go to the sink. I have essentially water source here. But what happens is that my daughter also likes to use it for several things, for her hair, and when she was kind of growing some plants, she used that for watering the plants, and it constantly kept disappearing on me. And it was like, oh, so eventually I just got a spare one. So now here we go. I have a spare one in case the other one gets, disappeared again on me. And this one, I think I've shown in one of the videos before, but I don't think I've seen it in the haul. This is for cleaning the brush, not really cleaning the brush while watercoloring. It's for, firstly, you should kind of dampen it. See, that's what I do with this as well. You keep it slightly damp, because it absorbs better when it's slightly damp. And, kind of slightly, kind of a touch damp. Not wet, but touch damp. And when you're watercoloring and you're taking paint from a palette or from the pan, and you have too much paint or too much liquid on it often, and you often have to then tap it onto kitchen paper or whatnot, you just kind of gently tap it onto this, and it'll quickly absorb the excess of your brush, so it wouldn't flood your page. So this, it's just a little practical thing that isn't anything fancy, but is super necessary in my craft room. And then this one, not the box. The box, I had ordered these boxes, a couple of them from TEMU a while ago, because I like to put my watercolors into pans and kind of so I could just, you know, kind of quickly take them out, but they would stay here, that they magnetized. And most of the time I have separately magnets, and I have pans, and I magnetize them myself with the glue and whatnot. And then I found on TEMU, these were like a couple of euros. There's 25 of them I bought in that packet. I wanted to test them out first. They have nice strong magnets at the bottom, and they already are magnetized and ready to put the paint in. And I was delighted, you know. So I have kind of a one box now ready to go. If I get any tube watercolors, this is going to be where they're going to live. And then it was kind of watercolor month for me. So these, let me get them all lined up here. I'm going to lift things a bit. There's 4 sets. Once again, you know, they were not expensive. They were quite cheap on TEMU. They are Chinese style, like Eastern style watercolors, and those boxes are wood, except the little, this lid that slides, this part is acrylic, but the lip on the lid is also wood. I like the fact that they're wood. I don't know, I have weakness for natural stuff. And they come in these bit of a big pans that are similar style to the stuff, the paints like Kansai Tambi, Kuretake Kansai Tambi comes, or any other Kansai Tambi pants. Really, Kuretake isn't the only one who does them. Kansai Tambi is basically just, you know, Japanese word for watercolor, or that style of watercolor. And they are beautiful color selections here. Just a second. And they have all kind of, they're named and collected and curated by seasons. So this one is late winter. They had those little kind of color sheets there as well, but I don't think they are very good matches. You know, if you look at the difference between what the color sheet shows you and what the actual swatch sheet shows you. But they are beautiful, interesting, a lot of them difficult colors, and they lay down really nicely. And I also discovered, I'm usually kind of suspicious about Eastern style of watercolor, because they tend to go down kind of shiny. And that means that, you know, well, if it goes down shiny, it doesn't really look bad, but if you want to put any shading on top or any pencil, it's going to be almost impossible. It's like writing on plastic, essentially, you know, or similar feel. But these ones actually, unless you put them down like really thick, which you wouldn't do anyway, why would you? These ones actually dry matte, so you can go on top of pencils very well. It's tested by moi. This is Early Spring Garden, and look at those colors. I just think they're gorgeous. And what I like about this is that they kind of are like almost like easy cheat if you are kind of struggling sometimes to choose a color palette for yourself for the page. Just limit yourself if you're basing or maybe just finishing the page. Just limit yourself onto kind of a set like this, curated set, and it will all work together and look nice. So this, you know, a tip here. So that was Early Spring Garden. This one is Midsummer Garden. Once again, just gorgeous. And getting the lid back on sometimes can be a little bit of a pain. Not if that thing wasn't in here, it wouldn't be a pain, but that kind of tends to get caught under this lid a bit. And this is Late Autumn Garden, and I absolutely adore this palette. Look at this, just stunning. Love it. And also I have tried 2 of them to see, you know, if I can do portraits with them and base portraits with them, and I totally can. Absolutely. All of them mix pretty decently. I was able to kind of mix skin bases and everything with them. So if the book, and also because they're a bit more opaque, some books that, you know, are kind of sensitive for watercolors, they kind of tend to break out in dots quite easily. Sometimes take those Chinese or Japanese style watercolors better because they are more opaque and kind of, instead of kind of sinking into the paper, they tend to sit more on the paper. So these are lovely, super happy that I found them and using them good bit, especially the way, you know, that I just use them, you know, one palette for one page type of a method. And then this one, I discovered I didn't have gloss medium, and I wanted to test, you know, a page, you know, how would page look if I actually sealed it with the gloss medium. And, you know, I probably will try on a page that I don't particularly love at first, but I wanted to try. And this one was also, I mean, I was ordering from TEMU, that was like, I don't know, €2 less, something like this. It's like, okay, for this price, I'm going to try it out. And next thing is also watercolors. I said to you that watercolors was a theme. I actually had them in my last video, actually, or my very recent video. And these ones are, they're also kind of curated the theme sets, but these ones are kind of mix of, they're also Chinese style watercolors. And the same way they go down, you know, the plain watercolors go down matte, so you can put pencils on top of them. They are also, but they are mix of, you know, your regular and metallic watercolors. Here you are. There's actually 4 sets, and I have ordered them too because I really love them. I actually, but for these ones, I wasn't expecting much at all when I ordered them. They were like really cheap. They were, there's 24 colors in each, and they were, when I ordered them, between €3 and €4, something like this, like cheap. But I just, you know, I wanted to try them out, and I'm very happy that I tried because they're very pigmented. You know, if you look at the colors, like, yeah, some of them, you know, those ones are just colors that, you know, have white in them, you know, they're pastel colors. But the other colors, you know, that are regular matte colors, if they're meant to be dark, they are dark, they are very pigmented. You can see, especially in this purples and pinks palette, you know, how many beautiful, deep, interesting colors are there. And I can just imagine doing almost monochromatic page with these colors just alone, and it would look so cool. I actually want to do it. And some of them have more metallic colors, some of them less. Metallic colors activate really well and go down quite opaque and smooth for metallic colors. We all know that this can be a struggle, but these ones go down really well. So very impressed with those small sets. I wouldn't say that, you know, they will last you for, you know, for huge works, but we are not working on big canvas. We're working in coloring books, and for that style of a work, these are plenty. These are going to last me for ages and ages. And yeah, really like them. Very happy with them. And then last watercolor is this. In Europe, it's like, I've looked at Amazon.com, and Prima watercolors I have ordered from there before when my relatives came to Ireland, and, you know, they've brought them, you know, I've ordered to their address and they brought them over, and it's not super expensive that way, but they are quite expensive to buy in Europe or Amazon UK, so usually I don't buy them, although I really would like to get a couple of more sets that I'm missing because I like them in coloring books, you know, especially in coloring books. Like they're slightly, they are kind of between, in the opaqueness between Chinese watercolors and your kind of a regular traditional watercolors. they are slightly more opaque. They are super easy to work with. They have a matte surface. Pencils coat up pretty well, and there's loads of fun and interesting kind of color choices. Kind of a ready-made convenience colors, which are so nice if you just want to quickly work and pick up color from the palette and not mix it. Occasionally, I don't feel like mixing. I just want to pick up color, and also they're quite pigmented for what they are. And this set is called Terrain, and I wanted it because of all the greens here, because you're always short of greens. You always need more greens, especially if you're doing a bit of a landscape or something. And that red is also just stunning. Beautiful deep red, really love it. And yeah, it's kind of a beautiful earthy palette, where that blue is the only one that doesn't really sit perfectly in here. But for mixing, actually it kind of works pretty well, so that's fine. So yeah, just love this one, and I would not have bought it, but once again it was reduced by 45%. Though sometimes, like oddly, things occasionally on Amazon UK, or any Amazon probably, you just have this random item just reduced by 45%, or sometimes 50%, or sometimes 30%. And mostly, of course, you don't see it, but I happened across it, and it was cheaper than I would have got it on Amazon US, and that's saying something. So I just picked it up. I am still missing the currants, and I want to get tropicals as well. And was there something else I was missing? There was the kind of the traditional set, the basic set is also missing. I would like to have that one as well. But I am definitely not buying them with Amazon UK prices, sorry to say, so boo-hoo. But yeah, very happy that I have this one, and it's already seen use, so very good. Actually lied to you about this one. Is as I was checking out, TEMU offered me this thing for $2.50. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna take this thing for $2.50. It's essentially, once again, Chinese style watercolors. They're very small pans. I'd say they're about 1 milliliter, 1 milliliter pans, or maybe 2 milliliter, not more anyway. There's, I think, 60 of them here, possibly. Not 100% sure. Doesn't really matter. I haven't even, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to swatch them as such, because most of them have so much white in them that you can see clearly what color it is. And I will they're great basing colors, and there's a lot of pastels and kind of a softer colors here. There are a couple of darker ones as well, which it's great, it's useful to have a couple, but mostly there are quite a lot of interesting colors here, and nice colors for just throwing light layer of color down. And because once again, the Chinese style, or kind of Eastern style, they go down pretty opaque, and I tested out, yes, matte. So absolutely, perfect for my purposes, the way I'm using watercolors. Okay, and then last item that is going into the supplies category is this. Okay, I caved. I heard, or I read, I didn't hear, I read that Woomer is planning to start selling open stock pencils. That, and I had heard previously really good and really positive reviews about them. But, I didn't want to buy another budget set that, I can't replenish if I needed to. And then they said, that they are expanding their line. I think they're in autumn, they're going to start selling 90 set. This is 72 set. And there's yeah, if they start selling open stock as well, this would be great. So I wanted to try them because it had been said that they are very soft and very nice, and lovely to work with and have good color choices. And I wanted to try it myself to make up a decision. I got them once again really cheap. I had a really nice discount code, and the shipping wasn't much either, so I just picked them up essentially, to try them out. And I have to say, here's the colors. I have a bit better swatch somewhere as well, but since I have this one in the box, I just show you this one. They are probably the closest to the Prismacolor I have tried in budget set. Okay, I have never tried Holbeins, for example, because I just they're just too expensive for me. I don't have that sort of a moolah to buy them. I would like to try a couple, but I have this suspicion that if I try a couple, if I like them, I won't rest before I manage to somehow get the rest of them. So it's like, nope, I'm not going there. But they are genuinely lovely, and they blend so well. I was like, they are smushable. I rarely can say that about many pencils except Prismas, that you can just smush them. They are smushable. I have, of course, heard different people saying different things about them. I do suspect that sometimes those things might depend slightly on the climate they're in and whatnot, maybe, but genuinely I have found working with them absolutely amazing. Oh, like I'm showing you a portrait. Like I did this portrait with them. This is done now on the base of, I don't remember which set, but these watercolors. I did a base with these watercolors, and then Woomer pencils on top, and they just blended so nicely. And they are, of course, at the moment, they're, of course, a bit punchy, they're quite bright. I am hoping that once they expand their line, that there's going to be more difficult colors and kind of more muted colors as well, and some more darks and some more lights. But yeah, it's fantastic pencils. I've used them on several pages now and enjoyed it quite a lot. Like tried them on several papers, and they pretty much have worked lovely on every single paper I've tried. So very impressed. I'm quite surprised that I didn't expect to like them this much, but I really do. I just wish, that there was more colors, and that it would already be available in bigger set. And of course, as usual, I would like to have more darks because pastels, there's so many of them around, I can live without them, but I would like to have more darks in pretty much every set. So that's all about my supplies, and a couple of quick books. I haven't really bought many books. I really I have plenty of books, but I will show you a couple here. So let me put these ones away. So this one first. Okay, I love birds. It's just something I do. I have bird feeder, those poles that have loads of hooks in them and things can be hung onto them, and mine is full of different feeders with different seeds and duts and whatnot, and it's almost always busy with birds. I have loads of goldfinches there, a lot, most of the time, and from sparrows to starlings to crows, of course, and chaffinches, and yeah, robins. So I really like birds. So I saw this book on Amazon, and it was once again one of those days that it was reduced by, I think, 30%, and it was quite cheap, and it's a hardback, you know, nice solid hardback with, I'm not saying that it's amazing paper, but it's an alright paper. You know, it's not super thick or anything. It's fairly smooth, but it's pretty nice paper. It's, you know, definitely nothing like Amazon paper. It's decent. And it has kind of these, I don't know who is the Arcturus publishing. These are like classic bird illustrations. They seem to be like, you know, older style. This seems to be, okay, it says A History of the Birds of Europe 1871 by H.E. Dresser, and The Birds of America 1842-44 by John T. Bowen. So it's combined Birds of America and Birds of Europe, and by two different artists. And, you know, the illustrations are next to it. In this book, not I don't really mind illustrations next to it, but in some books I don't really want them much. But in this one I kind of like them, because if I wanted to kind of make them look like they're supposed to, it's really handy to have a sample, you know, what colors or kind of what patterns, or, you know, how to color the bird. Okay, this one I have started kind of with the base, and I was thinking about doing it purely with acrylic markers, but the ones I had out, I kind of was struggling with colors to find correct ones. So it's kind of left at the moment. Maybe I'll go back eventually with pencils, although I don't think so, because there's quite a, it's not washed out acrylic markers, so I might struggle with pencils. But yeah, there's beautiful illustrations. Paper is all right. I probably wouldn't flood it with water or anything, but those images I think would be nicer with pencils, or, you know, something like this anyway. Possibly like gel pens with, you know, a bit of water. That would work. So yeah, they're cool. Like that book. Even if I didn't color here much, I just like the book because there's birds in it. And it has index here in the beginning as well. So, you know, you can see, and there's page numbers, so you can tell what birds they are. So, really like that one. One of those that, you know, maybe I don't want to even color in it, but I just like the book. Oh, I wanted to show you, before I forget, I mentioned about basing with these watercolors, and, you know, doing the portraits and stuff. And this portrait is based, I just threw a couple of bases down here. So the base here, this base is done with these watercolors. This is, you know, needs to be finished, but I just threw base down, and there should be another one here that I put the base down. Yeah, this one I also based with these watercolors. So yeah, you can absolutely base with these. Okay, that was tangent. Then I got this book. I need to come up a bit. Creative Haven. I don't usually buy Creative Haven books much. Most of the artists who seem to be working with them aren't usually much of my jam. Nothing against them. It's just, you know, sometimes people's art doesn't fit, you know, what you want to do, or, you know, your coloring style. And also their paper isn't, you know, one of my huge favorites, although I like it better than many others. But it also seems to be varying, you know, per magazine. But I'm, you know, as you know, if it's book with decent art and has dogs in it, it's quite likely that I will go and get it. And this one does have dogs in it. I have seen better dog art. It's a bit, the line art is a bit like somebody has taken a photo and kind of traced. And maybe, you know, I'm wrong, I most likely am, but there's something a bit clumsy about this line art. So no, no, I'm probably wrong. But some images are better than others. I like this one, the dachshund. That one is very cute. And I kind of want to even do that because, you know, the ducklings and its back and the little river and, you know, everything. This image would be lovely to finish. And this one is very cute also. Maybe remember that for springtime and the Easter image. Oh, leave the bird alone. Yeah, so, you know, some cute images, some kind of a pretty neutral stuff. And then I got this one, and I had actually pre-ordered it. Whose channel I saw that? It might have been, was it, it was, I think somebody talked about that before it was actually out. It might have been Connie, a coloring chemist, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, this is called 40 Drawings to Color by Rachel Ignotofsky. What's Inside a Garden, Science and Nature coloring book. And it's definitely not for everyone. It's kind of very stylized artwork. I have a whip here, obviously. As you can see, it's almost there. I need to finish those moths and work on those letters a bit, and, you know, here some greens and bits and pieces, but it's mostly finished. This is essentially the front page, but those pages are kind of like you're essentially learning stuff as you're coloring, type of a situation, you know, kind of feather anatomy, and it has all the names, and, you know, as you trace over them and color them, the point is that you will remember what is what. And I like that idea. I know that a lot of people won't, but I think they're kind of fun and cool. And especially if you sometimes, you know, for example, if you're homeschooling your kids, you know, which isn't really much of a thing here, but seems to be more in States, or if you are just, you know, if you like to color with your children occasionally as well, or if you're just, you know, interested in the subject, I think it's a great coloring book. So there's feather anatomy, bird anatomy, you know, the types of nests. Here's more nests, you know, types of birds, carnivores and herbivores, and little quotes, which quotes aren't usually hugely my thing, but, you know, I might do one. Another whip, which I have done with random colors, let's be honest. And of course I had to, oh, I was testing out these colors, I think. This, and it's a combination of these two sets here on the base, except this pen is one of the Languo pens, acrylic pens. But all the rest of it is watercolors, and this is gold, of course, because of course there is. And I won't do much pencil shading. I probably will put a little bit down, and I will use, you know, some metallic watercolors, probably from this set, because there's a lot of fancy metallic colors here, so I will use them on the bird. So that's the plan. And then what's inside a bird's nest, you know, the baby bird, how it's growing. It's just pollinators, different. I think it's just fun. And, you know, it's cool too. I'm probably less bothered about the, you know, learning about the pods and seeds and, you know, fruit and veg, although I might, you know, never say never. But I really like the bird section of it, and those plant sections are fun as well. It's very distinctive, you know, different and fun art style. And one thing I wanted to kind of bring to your attention, because this is rare, is, okay, let's take a random a random pen, which happens to be Red Brown by Ecoline because it was on my desk. Okay, so I'm gonna put some down here. It's a very smooth, nice paper to go on top of the top with water-based markers. And then I'm going to go on top with the water-based marker, and you can wash them out on this paper. You need to, of course, you know, like in most of these books, work pretty fast to do that neatly. And smaller areas, of course, are going to be better than bigger areas, or, you know, easier to do it. But you can do it. And, you know, that's something. So there you go. Something you can do here. I did, for example, that barn here is done with this marker. So, you know, just a tip. If you're interested, you know, or if you're looking for a book that you can play with water-based markers with, this book takes water-based markers very well. And although I had put a lot of, you know, water in it, the color didn't really go through. You can kind of see the paper got damp here, but once it dries, it's going to be fine. But it doesn't really matter. It's one-sided book anyway. So just, you know, for your information. And then, well, another quick, these ones, or this one first, for some reason these ones were €3, three and a bit on Amazon UK, and I was like, you know, for that money, although I don't love the paper and never will, and for some reason it's kind of curling a bit, you know, kind of it's sitting weirdly. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of curling a bit. I don't know why, but you know, it doesn't really matter to me that much. The images are cool, and I thought, not just, you know, definitely for Mermaid next year, you know, kind of variety, because I don't really have many mermaid pages, but you know, it's beautiful art, something interesting, some variety. It's a bit of a challenge for me, but challenges are good. Yeah, the paper, of course, is, you know, the worst the worst kind of Amazon paper, you know, this soft kind of like this scruffy paper. But yeah, I'll figure something out, probably with the help of alcohol markers and chalk pastels and whatnot. You know, I'm going to be able to do that. Not now, but maybe whenever the mood takes me, but definitely for next May. And I also got this one. That one was also at €3, and also does the same kind of a weird curling thing. I don't know why. Yeah, it's kind of a like bulges like this a bit. It literally curls. Like, I don't know if you can see. It's like this. Weird. Yeah. I haven't broken the spines or anything yet. So once again, nasty Amazon paper. Oh, I didn't say the artist. It's Selina Fenech. You know, I kind of, it was kind of disguised as well, of course. You didn't see it very well. So yeah, it's by Bookside by Selina Fenech. The first one was Mermaids, coloring book. And the second one is Winged Magic. And yeah, the same, pretty terrible paper. But you know, I love me a magical, mystical creatures. And some dragons and fae. Winged wolf. Okay, that's new. And dragon hatchling. That was very cute. Should do that with markers, just for the funsies. That would be so much fun. And yeah, oh, pig that flies. Oh my god. The problem using alcohol-based markers on this paper is that it bleeds like there's no tomorrow, but oh, I probably will get around it somehow if I really try. Yeah, it's beautiful. And one thing that I don't like about her books is that kind of a two sets of pages. Like, I do not need 2 sets of pages. I feel it's waste of paper. But there you go. It is, you know, what it is. But, you know, since it cost me €3, I can't really complain. So, thank you very much. I appreciate so much if you managed to stay with me for that long. Hopefully, you know, you had good time and saw something interesting or fun, or maybe picked up a tip or two. And have a lovely crafting time or coloring time or artsy time, whatever your inclinations are. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe, because obviously that helps my channel a lot and I'd be super grateful for that. And bye bye.